Hello gamers and welcome to episode 337 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for July 18th, 2021. I am one of your co-hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
Man, it's been an alright week overall. Got a little dicey in the sporting world just recently. Since we're doing this on a Sunday, we usually do it on a Saturday, but on Saturday night there was a shooting outside Nationals Park.
Yeah,
and people heard gunfire, but they didn't know where it was coming from. And the announcer said, "Please stay inside." But I don't. I think I saw people running out the gate.
Yeah.
But luckily, no one. Well, there were 3 people got injured, but they were outside the park. It wasn't like no one inside. So at least it wasn't like a huge mass shooting, luckily. And they probably had to postpone the game till today on Sunday to finish it up. It was in the 6th inning. And you saw players like helping fans, like I saw, like you were saying, Machado, Tatis Jr., and I think Will Myers from the Padres, because they're playing the Padres. And they were helping people in their dugout.
Yeah.
And that was nice to see. But luckily, it was nothing serious. And no one got killed. Luckily, no one got killed. I don't even know what happened to the assailant. Like, the guy who did the shooting. Did they catch him?
I hadn't seen news one way or the other on that.
Yeah, me neither. All I saw was about 3 people getting injured. So I hope they caught him. But I'm glad just no one died. At least from that shooting. What else is going on? Flooding in areas in the country. They got places where water is just evaporating.
Yeah.
Because it's not raining. It's just, God.
It's
just
hot as hell.
Yeah. It's just, man, it's just shit just being weird around the country, man. Like, yeah, it's like what they show, like Salt Lake. And it's like, man, it's like the difference between what it used to look like months ago till like now. And it's like, Jesus, a lot of water's gone. And darn, what was the flooding at? Was it in I forgot. It was somewhere where it doesn't really get it. Like, it was just ridiculous.
Was that like the stuff in Europe, or is there something over here that was?
No, it was in America.
Oh, okay. I saw the stuff in Europe.
I think it was Arizona. I think that was
Yep, Arizona.
Like, it was like a big river, like taking cars down and everything. And I mean, shucks, you don't get a lot of water there.
Yeah.
And something like that. But yeah, that was pretty bad. And just like somebody said, man, I wonder what kind of, what the insurance is. Like, probably how you get flood insurance. It's like, man, what the hell?
It's a scam here.
Yeah, that would definitely be a scam. Like volcano insurance. All right, so what else is there? Anything else to talk about, man?
I think that about covers it.
Okay. All right. So sports, baseball All-Star game happened. Mancini got to the championship. He got to the finals, I should say, of the home run derby, but couldn't beat Alonso with the S. The polar bear, they call him, on the Mets. And that guy was awesome. He was just knocking those home runs out, man.
Wow.
Like, I mean, he was just knocking them like crazy. Like, it was just ridiculous how he's knocking them out. But thing is, how the home run derby goes is that the person who's ranked lowest goes first, and it's timed, It's not like what it used to be where you just hit as many as you can until you get 10 outs.
Right.
So, because they said that's kind of not fair, because like people get tired. Like, you be hitting mad home runs, then you be tired by the time you get to the last round and you can't win.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of do it a tournament style, and it's timed, which it kind of sucks too, because like you could be going against a guy and y'all both have a lot of home runs, but you get knocked out.
Yeah.
But you have more home runs than people in the other round. And like, so it's like, I don't get a chance to even go further, even though I'm better than what the other guys did. But that's just how it is. So Mancini had to go first. He did all right. I forgot how much he had. I think he had in 20s. He had in 20s. I know that. I think it was 22. I think the other guy came and got 23 or 24. It's one or the other. So yeah, Alonso won, but Mancini just getting there. That was awesome. I was like, good. I watched the whole tournament, without, with somebody to root for. Mm-hmm. And I went out to Glory Days with some friends to watch it, so that was cool too. Yeah. Go on the restaurant. And to go to the restaurant, I think this was the, I wouldn't say the first time, because this is the first time in Maryland I've gone where you didn't have to have a mask on, going in or not. Everything's pretty much lifted. This is the first time I went to a restaurant since that happened. I mean, I've been in South Carolina when they had lifted it before Maryland. Not South Carolina, North Carolina, where they had lifted it before Maryland, and where everybody was just weren't wearing the mask when I went down there. So, yeah, so it felt like, okay, some normalcy. Mm-hmm. What else? And also having menus, not paper menus, so they can throw away. Actually have real menus. Yeah. So that was like, okay, that's interesting.
Thought about that. Yeah, I guess they were doing that for a while, weren't they?
Yeah, some people were. Some people said, whatever, you're getting germs. You're going to get the germs.
Nah, they spray with Windex in the back. I don't think it's fine.
What else happened? NBA Finals. Milwaukee's up 3-2. They came back being down 2-0. Mm-hmm. So, man, Milwaukee have a chance to win their second NBA Finals, they said, in 50 years. So that's cool. While Phoenix still has none. So, darn, they're about to squander an opportunity. They were up. Yeah, it looked like that was their series. People had them like, oh man, Phoenix might sweep them or win in 5. Mm-hmm. And nope. Milwaukee said, nah, we're not going down like that. And Giannis is awesome. Middleton's been awesome. And Drew Holiday, he finally came through. Like, he has been not that great before, but past game, he was great. Yeah, that was cool to see. And LeBron James was at the game. And I was like, that's weird to see a guy get put out in the playoffs but go to the finals game.
I don't see that Space Jam down
there. He must be doing that, and also maybe supporting his son's godfather, who is Chris Paul. So, but unfortunately, I think he gave him bad luck because they lost in Phoenix. So he's the reason why they lost, because him being there just gave him bad luck. All right. So, anything else in sports? Football's coming up. I know I heard some things. Somebody was doing some statistics on teams that have the COVID virus. And, there was, some teams that was way below, 50%. Mm-hmm. I think my team was one of them. So I was like, yes, we're anti-vaxxers. There we go. There we go. Fight the power.
Yeah. The virus. The vaccine, not the virus. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I said the virus, yeah. Yeah, well, I think hopefully all of them are below that amount with the virus.
Yes.
But, yes, the vaccine, less than 50% of the people have the vaccine. I think Washington was one. I know Indianapolis was one. It was some other teams, too. But I was like, I got to look that up because I heard on the radio, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. And I guess... it's not required that you get it. Not yet, anyway, in NFL. They make it a requirement. But I guess, are they going by, do you have to disclose that you got it, though? Or are people... Are there, how many people are not saying, hey, I'm not going to say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything. Is, I'm sure they have to disclose to the team, but does the team have to disclose to the media, I guess, right?
Yeah, it says report 2 NFL teams remain under 50% vaccinated. Oh, okay, so now it's 2. Is it still? Yeah, it's my team. Yep. Washington team, baby.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's only because the players are concerned about the people of DC, and they want to make sure that everybody can get a vaccination. And they're like, we're rich football players. We don't need the vaccination right now. That's what it is, Dominic.
Yeah. All right. It's Indianapolis. They also have, they say they're the 2's lowest ranks. And but it says right here,
which one's ranked lower? That's what I want.
Okay, which was right. Pittsburgh, Miami, Carolina, and Denver have the highest vaccination rates.
Interesting.
13 teams have at least 85%.
That seems pretty all right.
But you know what? I think I mentioned about Brad. Did I talk about that last week? Or no, I probably didn't. Bradley Beal cannot play for the Olympics because he caught COVID. It was another player too. I think it was. What's his name? Played for Cavaliers. Used to play for Minnesota. The white dude. Kevin Love.
Oh, okay.
Also, so, but thing is, I believe they were vaccinated. But see, that's the thing. You can still get it if you're vaccinated, but it doesn't mean you're sick. Doesn't mean you get sick.
Right.
But you still pass it on. So that sucks though, because it's like, so even to get vaccinated, it doesn't mean you're not going to be sit out. Like you can still get the virus. So I'm thinking like, what the NFL is going to do? Are they going to let players play if they were vaccinated and they got the virus? Can they still play? And I'm thinking like, if they can't play. They would just. It's going to be another year of you don't know what the hell is going to happen week by week.
Yeah, they're fucking up my fantasy team, Dominic.
Yeah, because technically, people, you can still contract the virus, but it doesn't mean you get sick.
Yeah.
You can still pass it on to somebody, though, and somebody who doesn't have it, are not vaccinated, will get sick. But I'm thinking, man, I don't know. I mean, see, if they made it a requirement that everybody get vaccinated, then I would just let people play unless you're sick. If you feel like you're sick, just like anything else, then you don't play. Like, you can't play. But I mean, you physically not going to want to play anyway because you feel sick. But that's what I'm saying. But if you say, oh yeah, I got the disease, but I don't feel bad. Like so it's like I still feel okay. So I'm like, play. But thing is, with everybody being vaccinated, I think that's why they probably it's not a requirement.
Yeah.
So that's why they probably don't want that to happen. They're not going to say you can still play because since you're not required to take a vaccine, you can get somebody else sick, and that. It's like, it sucks.
Yeah, because then you'd have to basically require everybody on the team, everybody is part of like the office and everything, or even like top boys and everything like that, sideline people. And then you're wondering about fans too, like how close. Yeah,
well, you see, in football, they are a lot farther than what they are in basketball.
Yeah.
Like, basketball, they right up on them. Football, they're pretty far. They gotta jump over and run and, on the field like some of those crazy nuts do. But
I'm spreading COVID. Also, this is my dick.
It's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be another interesting season. Because already on baseball, I think the Yankees had missed a game because of COVID. And some players were out. And there's people, I think they're being vaccinated. So it sucks. It sucks that it's like the pandemic. Things are open, but it's still here. COVID is still here. It's still around us.
You got stuff like the Delta strain and stuff like that sounds like could make it worse.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you got any wrestling news? Anything big happen in wrestling? The fans are back, right?
Yes. So as of Friday Night SmackDown, since we're recording on Sunday. That was WWE's first show back with fans. AEW's had a couple of shows now back with fans. Money in the Bank is happening this weekend for WWE.
Where?
Is it in Texas, I want to say? Texas is where the SmackDown was. So I want to say it's happening somewhere down there.
Okay.
Most of their... that's not true. I think most of their tour dates, because they've announced, where they're going to be going for the next couple of weeks. Mostly southern states, but they are coming up to like DC and Pittsburgh and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So they are coming around. I think I may have mentioned already that SummerSlam is happening in Las Vegas. That's still like a month and a half or 2 months away. I don't know. Somewhere at the end of August, I think.
Got your tickets?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not really feeling it right now. Yeah, so that's interesting. Now that fans are back, people are speculating that we're going to get a lot of like big people returning. John Cena, who else? Possibly Brock Lesnar. Now I'm hearing instead of Brock Lesnar, maybe Goldberg, which I have no interest in seeing like a Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg match. I just don't need that. Especially if there's any chance that Goldberg might win. Like, I definitely don't want that. I am all for Roman in his current like heel character beating John Cena though. Just, I like the sound of that. There's been talk for a long time of like them wanting to do Roman versus The Rock at like WrestleMania. I don't know if they can get The Rock back around that time or even in general for the most part. I think during SummerSlam they're doing like a 25th anniversary of The Rock or something like that. 30 years of The Rock. I don't know how many years it's been, but so many years of, celebrating The Rock. And I could see if they are actually going to get The Rock back for a match, something kicking off there.
It can't be 30 years, right?
And no, I don't think it's 30 years. So that would be interesting. I would very much enjoy seeing Roman beat The Rock, which is a weird thing to say considering how kind of up and down people have been on Roman, myself included. But right now he's doing the best work of his career, basically. I think he's doing a great job. He'll most likely beat Edge tonight in some form or fashion, probably with Seth Rollins getting involved in some way after probably losing the Money in the Bank match that he's in. And then last night was actually the Impact Wrestling pay-per-view Slammiversary, and they had a couple kind of surprises, some people from WWE showing up there that were released. But the biggest kind of surprise is that Kenny Omega retained the Impact title. He's currently holding the Impact title, the AAA title, which is a promotion in Mexico, as well as the AEW title. And after he retained the title at the end of the show against one of Impact's guys, Sami Callihan, Switchblade Jay White, who's a guy from New Japan, who's currently kind of the de facto leader of the Bullet Club, which is a faction that Kenny Omega was previously in when he was in Japan, came out, and they're kind of teasing something there. So it seems like Impact is kind of like neutral waters, and you're basically getting like some of the best from every company. Like you've already got Kenny Omega in there, and now you're getting a guy like Jay White in there. And allegedly the next big pay-per-view that they have, Bound for Glory, which is being advertised, has logos for AEW, AAA, and New Japan on it. So it could very well mean that they're getting guys from AAA as well. So that'd be a lot of fun. They kind of lucked into being like the place where everybody can converge, which I think people thought AEW would be, and has been. Like they're getting some guys from New Japan coming in. But for the most part, Impact's really kind of benefited from all of this a little more than everybody, because nobody was really talking about Impact before then. Still, to an extent, aren't really talking about them. But yeah, wrestling as a landscape right now is pretty interesting. Having fans back, I can kind of go one way or another on. Like I was pretty all right with pumped in audio, but it is, as long as they don't get overindulgent about it, which WWE does a little too much sometimes, of just like zooming in on people in the crowd, like doing stupid reactions that are going to turn into memes and whatnot. Like just the sound of like people cheering, like having Roman open the show on SmackDown and just people booing their faces off because they hate him now, or having Bianca Belair show up, which is like the first time that she's been in front of fans with the SmackDown Women's title since WrestleMania. Like it's a special moment, and I would imagine it's a very special moment for these performers who actually get to then perform in front of these crowds again. So it's pretty good right now.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so I guess we're getting to what we've been watching. So you can start it off since you watched Sexually More Than Me this week.
All right. So I watched a little bit of the Disney Plus Monsters Inc. show, Monsters at Work.
Okay.
Just threw it on as like, I'm getting tired of Bluey and Phineas and Ferb for my daughter, so let's see what this is all about. And it's cute. It's interesting how much Billy Crystal and John Goodman are actually in the show. Like Sully and Mike Wazowski are actually in there a surprising amount. Basically, the idea behind it is there's this new monster who just graduated from Scare University or whatever, and his first day on the job at Monsters Inc. is the day after they realized that laughter was the power that, was going to keep them going forward instead of scares from children. So he's like what am I supposed to do? I was one of the best scarers, and now now they're doing laughs, and he gets put on like the maintenance crew, and the maintenance crew is like the outcasts of, Monsters Inc. So far it's cute and fun, but there's nothing particularly special about it. It's very much like if you think back to the Disney animated movies like in Aladdin or something like that, and then they have the cartoon series as well, where it's kind of like, oh, these are familiar characters, but this is mostly just filler. It feels like that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, it's cute if you want to, explore the world with these characters a little more, but you're not getting a lot of depth, and you're not getting the Pixar feels from it necessarily.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's okay. I also watched America the Motion Picture on Netflix, which is, I guess, from the guys behind Archer, and also like Phil Lord Miller, the guys that did like the Lego Movie and numerous other things that people have heard of. It's fun. It's very stupid, kind of in the way that Archer is. Like, it has that kind of sense of humor, like making fun of dicks and stuff is funny. And it is for the most part. But yeah, it's okay. Like, it's not mind blowing or anything, but it's a fun, pretty quick, like hour and 40 minutes or whatever movie. Did nothing too inoffensive, vulgarity wise. I mean, there's a lot of violence in it. Like, it's over the top violence. George Washington has chainsaw arm blade things, and he is cutting through redcoats, and they're dismembering people. There's like one shot of naked boobs in it. There's a lot of just like boob.
I gotta see it.
There's a lot of boob physics though to it. Like, there's a lot of jiggle.
That's what Archer did.
What's that?
So that's what Archer did.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very much like, we're going to give you the tease kind of thing. But yeah, it's very over the top. Like, there's like werewolves, and yeah, it's just insane. But it was very enjoyable. I thought it was a lot of fun. So it's pretty good. I would recommend checking it out if Archer is the type of thing that you're into, and you don't mind the like grotesque levels of violence in it, then I think you'll enjoy it. So I watched that. Also watched the Batman. You were talking about that. Was it just last week
the long
that you were
Halloween?
telling me about that? Yeah. The Long Halloween part
2 weeks
1.
ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah. So
darn, man. Whatever. Okay, go ahead.
I checked that out. I very much like the art style of that. Like, it's definitely an improvement over some of the, I want to say more recent, but it's been a while since I watched one of the DC movies, but they were definitely going in the direction of,
it is most, I'll say
very
most recent
simple
too.
stuff. And I didn't really like that. The characters are still relatively simple, but the animation to them is pretty good. And also, like, the graininess and depth and feel of the backgrounds, I thought was really cool. They give it like a kind of texture to it that makes it kind of gritty. It's a very like slow plotting movie, but there's also like a decent amount going on. I definitely want to see part 2. I want a resolution to this. Like, I need to know what's going on. They have a lot of familiar characters in there. You see the Joker, you see, kind of a lot of people in the, in Arkham Asylum. And then at the end, they of course tease Poison Ivy, which I say specifically because there's a trailer out for part 2 now. So I don't feel like I'm necessarily spoiling anything there as kind of a post-credit sequence thing. But yeah, I'm very intrigued by what they're doing with this. I enjoyed this one a lot, and I look forward to part 2 there.
It was done very well. I think it was like they really upped their game, but now I'm like, man, well, you're gonna have to, now everything's gonna be looked at like this, like this one, like these next movies after this. So I wonder, can they keep it up?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, I wanted the animation when the animation go back, because I don't think the animation, it wasn't like that for the Superman. It was almost similar with the dark outlines, but it didn't feel like this one. That's, what was that called? Superman? I forgot, the newest Superman one that came out. I forgot what that was called. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see if they made money or something. Maybe they will keep it keep that animation.
So who do you think is Holiday?
I was saying Two-Face.
Okay.
I didn't read the comic, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's not a spoiler. It's just I mean, it definitely seems like from the little bit that they show you, and maybe that's kind of a red herring of like his face with the bandana over it. It does kind of look like Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
And he's clearly got some issues going on, and clearly has
I want to know more
been doing
with
things. His wife.
Yeah, his wife, because she's all scared and stuff in the beginning. So I want to know, like, because she's seen him split personality, and like she know which one was going to talk to her. Was that what it is?
That's gotta be something like that, right? Because she's very much like, this marriage is already fractured. He's got something going on. His face isn't fucked up yet, but he's clearly got something in his head that, doesn't seem right.
Yeah. But I like that this is like early Batman. Like, he's not that great of a detective.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I forgot to mention that. Yeah, the fact that they're like always talking about like he should be a better detective. It's like, he's the world's greatest detective. What's going on here?
Like, he's it's still somewhat new to him. Like, he could beat up the guys, but trying to figure things out, he's still new to that. But it's a cool take. It's a cool take on Batman.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I didn't read the Long Halloween, so I don't know. So I don't know the answers to this, and I'm kind of I don't want to look at it now. Yeah. Like, I'll just wait to the movie, watch the movie, then I'll look at the comic and see,
because that comes out at the end of this month, right? So it's not that far off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like it's days away. So because I don't want to be also like, oh, this ain't like the comic book. I said, oh, this is horrible. But I see people like it. I see some people like it. I haven't looked too deep because I don't want to see no spoilers, because I'm scared somebody's going to say like, in the comic this happened and something like that. I don't want to know that yet. Yeah. All right, so I guess we're getting to the big one, the season finale of Loki. Yeah. So how'd you like it?
Yeah, the spoiler free, I enjoyed it a lot. It's kind of slow as far as like, you got your actiony bits in the last episode. There's a kind of touch of that, but it's still extremely impressive regardless of that stuff. Like, the absence of action did not bother me at all, because the performances in this episode are incredible, in my opinion. One specifically. So, what'd you think?
All right, so if you're looking for action, well, then again, if you're looking for action, you probably tuned out of Loki.
I was going to say, you checked
ago.
out a while ago, yeah.
But just the explanation and the encounter, like with you find out who's without spoiling it, you find out who's behind the Time Masters or whatever. Like, you see, it was good. Like, I like dialogue. I like the reveal of it, like reveal of what's possible and how that connects to probably future movies. Oh yeah. So it really is like a like, this is like the bridge to what's going to be in these next coming shows or movies or something. Like, what's happening, and it got me, because like, I wasn't really excited. Like, Endgame, I wasn't really excited for anything at the Endgame. I was like, I was going to watch it stuff, but I was like, whatever. Like, Spider-Man came out, it was good, but I was like, it's like, I wasn't really like, oh man, I have to see this. I just saw it, and just like Black Widow, I didn't have to see that. I just saw it, and I mean, I enjoy them. I mean, I enjoy the movies, but I'm not really anticipating them. This kind of makes me a little excited for what's upcoming. I said, okay, they look like they got something going on here that can really make me maybe really want to see these shows. Like, I really want to look into them a little bit. I kind of don't want to go in that rabbit hole though. I don't want to go too deep of like looking like at the rumors and stuff like that. I just, because that stuff just gets too much. I just want to not even go through that. I'll just watch when it come out. But I mean, I am excited. They are doing good things. It seems like with the story, like they're at their end game. It's like, man, how can you top this? I'm not saying they're going to top it, but this is a good storyline for something after a big event like that. Like this is a good way to start another storyline. But who's to say that this guy's going to be the big bad though? But I'll get to that when we get to spoilers.
Yeah. So you want to just get into spoilers now?
Yeah, you get into spoilers.
So that's actually kind of my concern too, is because immediately, but in the relative immediate future, you have Spider-Man, which sounds like it's going to relate to some kind of multiversal thing. You have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And then you have Jonathan Majors confirmed as Kang the Conqueror in the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. So, like, there is part of me that's a little bit concerned that a guy that they first kind of show in a Disney Plus series is a guy that they can then feel like they're going to be done with by the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, instead of, leading to some grand Marvel spectacle in the way that like an Endgame or that basically Endgame, the way Endgame was, right?
Yeah.
So the person we were talking around in this episode is Jonathan Majors, playing seemingly some variant of Kang the Conqueror, whether it may be Immortus, who he's kind of dressed similarly to, who is Kang in a different reality, I guess. Basically, Kang's been a kind of a different couple of people, but his backstory that he explains in this episode very much follows kind of the Kang the Conqueror storyline from the comic books. Basically, as soon as, because they kind of they jump scare you at the beginning, because like they're walking into this like castle or whatever, and you're waiting for this person to show up, and then Miss Minutes just pops up like, hello. And it's just like, where the fuck did you come from?
I missed that, because a lot of people say, oh, she jump scare, and I must have missed the jumps. Yeah, I must have been looking at something else, because I saw her, but I didn't realize it was a jump scare that she came up.
Yeah, she just pops out of nowhere.
I heard her voice. I think I heard her voice, and I looked up, and I said, I said, okay. But I wonder what the hell she is.
Exactly. I'm very interested in what her role in the whole thing is, because she's obviously got some connection with Immortus or Kang, or I guess in this episode, as he's referred, He Who Remains, who is also a character in the comic book that is kind of different from Kang seemingly, but it works in this kind of condensed MCU kind of way of explaining things. So I was kind of like, oh, so they're doing this. They're not committed to doing like the next big bad in a Disney Plus kind of thing. Like I was waiting for another Loki to show up or something like that. And that could be fun in certain ways, but it wouldn't have the same impact that this did. And as soon as I saw Jonathan Majors, I was like, they're fucking doing this thing. They're doing it. And then the rest of the episode was basically him monologuing, and it was incredible. Like what he does with this character was fantastic. And I'm not really familiar with his work, because I haven't seen Lovecraft Country, and I haven't really even known what he's been in otherwise. But if he's as good an actor here as he is in those other series, then I'm very intrigued to go back and check Lovecraft Country out. Unfortunately, it doesn't have another season coming or anything like that, but maybe that makes it easier for me. So I'm just like, one season, I'm done, right? So yeah, there's just like so many possibilities that this character opens up, and the opening up the multiverses basically by Sylvie killing him at the end, and him just like, see you soon. And then at the end, you see that, oh, the timekeepers have been replaced by this one man now, in very much a more Kang-like garb in that statue, and nobody knowing who Loki is. Like, he's now in a different multiverse, and I think now Loki has been confirmed for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, so that makes perfect sense.
When's Loki season 2 come out then?
That's a good question. Yeah, because they also kind of made that as the stinger of the episode, that there's going to be a Loki season 2. Yeah, I wonder where that falls in line, if it's before that movie comes out or before, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania comes out, or where that falls in line. I don't think they've given really any indication of that yet. Yeah, but also, like, I just wonder what Sylvie is doing now, because I liked her character a lot. Are we just going to have 2 Lokis going forward, or maybe many Lokis? Can I still see Alligator Loki? What's happening here?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you do.
So, I mean, if he gets a whole nother season, then I would imagine characters that are extremely popular, like Alligator Loki, would at least show up for a little bit. But yeah, this opens up so many possibilities if they are, in fact, going the direction of Kang being basically the new Thanos-level threat. There's going to be strings going through a large swath of the Marvel movies that could very much bring things together and make me very interested.
Yeah, there's a way that they can do it. I just wonder if that's their plan.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be the big bad? Or is it over? Is he going to be there when the Thor movie comes out? Or when the Miss Marvel, or the Marvels, they call it, whatever, movie comes out? Like, is that is he still the guy, or would that be over by the time Quantumania? I want to know where his story is, like, in all this, like, where does it end?
Yeah, I'm intrigued too, because we know that there's a Fantastic Four movie coming, and at some point, once you introduce Doctor Doom, he has to become the guy, right? Or if Fantastic Four, you also have like Galactus. That could happen. There are so many things that are even more well known than like a Kang. Kang is like such a weird fucking thing to go with, and that's kind of why it's so fun to me, because like I was saying the other week, where like Loki as a series is kind of normalizing the absurd in comic books, or like transferring the comic book stuff to these TV shows and these movies. Like, this is the prime example of that. Like, now we have like all these people excited about this, like, just completely absurd seeming character who is like flying around in a Sphinx shaped spaceship and goes back in time to become a pharaoh. And then the Fantastic Four beat him up, and then he like travels forward to the future and leaves the Sphinx spaceship behind. So that's how the Sphinx exists now. And then like he overshoots, so then he becomes like this futuristic guy who then goes back in time and is like, I have all this weird future tech. And it's just like so many layers of just comic book absurdity being introduced into these movies. Is like, they don't have to stop. Like, there's no end now. They could just make the most absurd thing possible and people will be okay with it. Like, there was a certain point where people were like, I don't know about this Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Like, there's a raccoon that's talking in a tree.
Well, like Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure when they first announced Ant-Man. I was like, who the fuck cares about Ant-Man?
Exactly.
Why would I get his own movie?
Yeah. So between that and like these Disney Plus shows that are coming up, that we like have a good idea of stuff that's coming through like the end of this year, maybe through the middle of next year. But I feel like there's a lot of landscape that we even theoretically know like the movie schedule for in the next like year and a half, 2 years. but we don't know what they're sprinkling in between with these Disney Plus shows. And also just like even the What If series that's coming, the animated thing that's coming to Disney Plus soon. Now that there are branches and all these different multiverses, like that stuff doesn't just have to be like, oh, these weird one-off what if things. They could actually kind of be canon. It just so happens that these things are happening in one of these different multiverses, and they can actually utilize that as kind of another stepping stone to get to some of the most outrageous stuff that they can find. So yeah, that's kind of what makes me the most excited about like this whole situation that they've got going on now. Plus, it just seems like Jonathan Majors is an extremely good actor, and I can't wait to see what they do with him specifically in this character and just let him go at it, basically.
So what did he do to make you really say he's a great actor?
Just the fact that, in my opinion, he basically carried this entire episode, and it wasn't him doing anything like action-wise, or it was just him sitting there talking, and that was enthralling enough for me to be all in on this episode, basically.
Okay. All right, then. So I guess we get right into what we've been playing.
Yeah.
So you go ahead.
I was going to say I can start it off because I just felt like, I don't know, I needed some comfort food for some reason. So I went back, and I think part of it is like Metroid Dread coming up. So I went back and tried out some Metroid Zero Mission. Just played, I don't know, probably like an hour, 2 hours of that. Went through, got some of the power-ups. Just getting a feel for it. I was playing it on the PC just to see how it looked on a bigger screen. Because, you know, typically I'd play that on the Vita or something like that. Yeah, just going through. Still an extremely enjoyable game. A very good update to the original Metroid, which is very much unplayable in a lot of ways in the modern day and age. Like, it's just such an obtuse thing where it's like there's no map, there's no, you know, nothing leading you around at all. It's all about exploration, but at the same time, there are a lot of corridors and things that just look the same, so it's very easy to get lost. And this is an incredible upgrade to that, both in graphics and gameplay, accessibility. It's just such a great game. But yeah, that's
you say you played it on the Vita?
No, I was playing it on the PC this time.
The PC. Oh, okay.
Just to see how those graphics look blown up a little bit. I initially, when that game came out, I wasn't a huge fan, and it kind of started in Metroid Fusion, actually, like the more comic booky look to or a cartoony look to the backgrounds and stuff. Because I very much like if you're doing like the pixel graphics of like a Super Metroid, having those like dark atmospheres, but I think they actually do a good job with this. And they don't bother me nearly as much as when I was younger and kind of like, why did they make it cartoony looking? So yeah. So what have you been playing this week, Dominic?
All right. So I've been playing some more Yakuza Like a Dragon. I forgot to mention last week that there's actually a system, or it's like an app on your phone called Palmates, and that's how you do summons. That's their version of summons in this game. Mm-hmm. You call a person, a mate, I guess, and they come. Like you have one guy who's like a boxer who you've seen in previous games of Yakuza.
Oh, okay.
I forgot his name. It was a play on words of former boxers, like Buster something.
Gary Buster Holmes.
Gary Buster Holmes, yeah. And so you can call him up and he'll come beat up people, or you can call in a guy who likes to, it was a Yakuza, one of the Yakuza leaders who has a fetish of being a baby in a diaper, like one of those fetishes. And I'm trying to think, did I call him? I think I did call him. I'm trying to remember what he did. he starts crying real loud, and that affects everybody. I think it brings either the defense down or something like that. Like he starts wailing, and like the sound barrier shit is like going around like vibration. And I got two other ones. I got a crawfish, and I got some other animal. I forgot. But I didn't use them yet. I haven't used them yet. Cause I keep forgetting I have the pound mixer. Sometimes I just fight regularly. And the thing is, how I got the app was that there was a sub story where you saw an advertisement for pound mates, and one of your people in your group said like, "Oh man, the advertisement looks like it's for like a woman, like you're seeing woman or something like that." Like, and so, like an escort service or something like that. So he said, "Oh man, I like this." And the first one's free. So yeah, I'll give him a call because I was telling him like, "Hey, you have no money, so how you gonna get it?" So the first one's free. So then he called them and he told them where he was, and they said they're coming. So they're coming. I thought they're gonna be at the hotel or something. Maybe we'll have to drive to the hotel from here. And then that's where Gary Buster Holmes came. Say, "Hey, you called?" I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, pound mates." They said, like. See, and the advertisement has like silhouettes of women, so you think it is like that, but really it's like they pound, they fight for you or something like that. So that's what it is. So that's how they did it. It was pretty funny. Also, what have I done? I've done kart racing, and it is kind of like Mario Kart in a way. Like you do have it where you can pick up items and shoot at people. And it's like a little tournament. I haven't done it yet. I only done the first race just to start off the story. But it's like a little story there with all these different racers I have to beat. They all have their backstories. It's pretty cool. Also, what other mini game have I done? Oh yes, their version of like the cabaret is I have to manage this business. And it goes all into stocks and all that shit. It's not real complicated. It's like they simplify it, but it gets to the point. I haven't done a lot into it. I'm just starting out right now. Like right now, I'm trying to get some employees. Because if you have certain employees at your business, they help you in certain factors of the business. Like they have stats and everything. So I'm trying to get some. This one employee, apparently, I was reading a strategy how to do well in this, and I have to do a sub story, which is, I think he's a former baseball player or current. I forget. I think you heard him. I know you heard himself. So he's gonna work for me. The battle system. So you could change jobs. Like they use the job system, which is in the old RPGs. Games that they've done, like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, used mostly like JRPGs have used like job systems. That's basically you change your class, basically. So, like I've got to the point where I can change my class, and what they do is that you go to Hello Work, which is like a place where you get new jobs. So that's what you're really doing. They make it like, hey, I'm getting a new job as a bodyguard. So now you're a bodyguard and you do different. You have different moves now in your battles. Or I also have a woman in my group now. Because we're helping her out with something. I don't want to spoil it. So anyway, there's a woman in my group, and she's a hostess at a cabaret. She owns it, really. Like she's the lead person there. Because technically she don't own it, because the guy, this other guy owns it, but he passed away. Okay, yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much. But anyway, I changed her job to what I changed it to. And not an idol. I don't think it was an idol. I think it was a hostess, because she was a barmaid, and I changed it to a hostess. And I don't know. I think it was between an idol and a hostess. I don't know, but I know
when
she
you
has
say idol. Do you mean like a pop idol?
Yeah, because she started. Okay. I think you got it where you can start singing and stuff. But I'm trying to think. Did I do that? I can't remember. Yeah, it's a pop idol. Then as you go along in the game, you unlock other ones. Because there's one that looks a little like she looks like an SMM outfit. So I'm like, that can be that can be freaky. Also, I have one who's a musician. The guy who used to be homeless is a musician, and I have the guy who's an ex-cop. I have him as a like security guard. Not security guard. I think it was something like that along those lines. It's like a security guard
To cop.
Yeah, yeah, basically. So, but thing is, I like that they changed the outfits. Like, oh, good. I'm tired of wearing the same outfit all the time. But they only change it when you're in a fight. So I was like, oh man.
Weird.
I was like, you can't keep this same outfit, like, walking around. I said, that sucks. So, also, I played this game through the cloud. I actually signed up for the cloud, Xbox Live Ultimate because they let me do it for $1.
Oh, okay.
Again, even though I'm not technically new.
Mm-hmm.
So because I really wanted to play baseball because I was like, man, I want to play baseball like this, but I don't want to start over again.
Right.
And it does transfer my character player over, but I'll get into that later. So I played Yakuza because I was thinking like, is this separate? Is this like Yakuza Like a Dragon PC version? And then there's a console version, so it won't transfer. But no, it does transfer. So like, yes. So I can put my cheats and bring my stats up and then play it on the cloud system. and then I don't have to go through the freaking loading because the loading times suck. At least so on my PC, those loading times suck. And I'm so pissed because like when I leave a place, like, oh shit, I gotta load again. And that's why it prevents me from going back to some places. Like, I'm gonna pick this up. I was like, I want to go through load times. But now when I play this game, the load times are fast since it's based on the Xbox Series X.
Right.
Like a whole lot faster. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this game. Like, I enjoy this game a lot. It's fun. The sub stories are pretty great. Oh yeah, there's a mini game where you go to the movie theaters, and the mini game is that you have to keep yourself awake through the movie. So they have it like this guy. They have this guy with the sheep head like over his body, like he's in a suit, and they just pop up. And when they pop up, you have to hit the right button on your controller to make them disappear. These sheep, like they trying to make you sleep. Like these men, the sheep with men bodies. And then if you see a chicken, don't hit it because the chicken or the rooster, I should say, it'll hurt you. It'll take points away from you or something like that.
Because it would call and then wake you up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that was it's crazy. I'm trying to think. It was another mini game I did. Oh, well, it was a side story with the crawfish. How I got the crawfish was a guy told me to find his pet crawfish because I threw it. I saw a crawfish on the sidewalk. I said, oh, hey, how'd you get up here? So I put it back in the water. He said, oh, where's my Betty, or something like that, Betsy, whatever. And it's like, oh, man. So I had to go find this crawfish. And it was like different ones, but his crawfish has an X on the back, and I found it. I was like, oh, I found your crawfish. Oh, I'm so glad you found her. I don't know what to do. So now it's time to eat her. He's like, wait a minute. I was like, I thought this was your pet, man. I said, no, I was just taking care of it because I was trying to get it, like basically like fatten it up, and so you can eat it. So I was like, oh no, I'm too attached to it. I said, I wanted to keep it. So he said, well, you only can keep it if you can get me like this sushi plate or something. So I had to go to the store and buy that, give it to him, and that's how I got the crawfish. So it can. So I'm curious what the summon is. Maybe it just like pinches people or something like that. But yeah, that was funny. Also, you have side stories where this guy was trying to ask out this girl at the soup who works at like a soup kitchen or something, and I helping him. Like, you have to build up your statistics because like you have charisma, style, passion, intelligence. Like, you have these stats, and you build them up by answering like a certain dialogue you do might increase one of those stats, or something you do like around the world, or some mini game you do. So I have to increase my style so I can show him how to dress himself to make her look good for her, and my charisma up to tell him what to say to her, like a certain level. So that was cute. That was cute, like getting that guy to speak to her. And thing is, he's homeless, so I don't know. I wonder if that's gonna work out for him. Because she works a soup. That's how you knew her. Because he's homeless and he goes to soup kitchen line and everything. I mean, he's cleaned up now, but he still don't have a home. But maybe I guess he get with her. She'll let him stay with her. I don't know. Yeah, but the game it's fun, man. It's really fun. I like how the lightheartedness of it like even the main story is pretty cool. But how also they get some serious moments. Not as much as the other Yakuza games I played. But I just like how he's a good guy. Like, he's a good guy, and just like, I think that's how all the Yakuza games are. Like, these guys are good guys, always want to do the right thing. Even though they work for the Yakuza, who do a lot of legal things.
They're a misunderstood association,
yeah.
though.
But you know what? They don't make things black and white. So that's the thing. Like, he'd still be a good person, but hey, like, look, these, like, you deal in prostitution and stuff, but look, you know, these girls are down their luck. It's like, we want them to get better, but sometimes shit happens. Or these, like, homeless people. Like, I still treat them right and everything. Like, I don't treat them like shit. And, like, I know what they're going through. Or something like that. But, yeah, it's cool. All right, so I played some more Mass Effect. I haven't got to Novaria yet. I was doing side missions right now. I'm trying to think of any big side missions I did. Nothing really huge. Because there really was no huge side missions in that game. I mean, they mean something later on, like in 2, but like I didn't realize it because while playing it the first time around, it's like, because it just don't feel like much. It's like, this is nice, but it didn't feel big. And then when I played 2, when they said you did something then, it's like, okay, now it makes that feel a whole lot bigger. Like what you did for was dealing with Cerberus. Like, I didn't think Cerberus was going to be anything else. I didn't know who they were. And they made them big in this part 2. I think I did one thing with I punched the news reporter with my female shepherd. I'll try to wait. I try to wait later because I ain't punch her. You can punch her real early.
Yeah.
It'll just be like, what the fuck? It's like, but I waited till I answered some questions, and then I said, "Oh, I had enough of this," and just punched the shit out of her. And then I lied to this other reporter. What's her name? Like Ava Wong? I think that's the Resident Evil person, but
yeah, Ada Wong.
It's something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. Like, she wanted me to plant a bug in the transportation control room because they said, like, basically like airplane control, like saying they've been working long hours and stuff, and that's why there'd be accidents because they're not getting enough time off. And with my male shepherd, of course, I did it for her. My female, I lied and said I put it there, and she said, "I'm not getting any readings." You said, "You called me a liar?"
Try harder.
No. I said, "I put it there. Maybe your bug don't work." I said, "Okay." Then she still paid me. Nice. You know, I lied. I didn't put the bug in there. So yeah, I'm evil, the evil film shepherd. All right, let me see what else I played. I played some more Battlefront. I've been having fun with that game. I've been doing pretty good. I really like the heavy. I think I'm really good with the heavy. I'm pretty good with the specialist too, which is like the sniper. I seem to get quite a few kills doing that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this game, this might be my multiplayer game for this summer, like Titanfall 2 was last year. Keep it at EA. Give me EA something.
Keeping it 5 years after the fact.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that too. So, also, I played some Outriders under your name on
that's why I was getting achievements.
Cloud. Yeah, that's right. Yep, exactly. So and look, God, that game runs so much better. Like, the load times are so quicker.
Yeah. And
just getting, like, everything is just so much faster playing it through the Xbox Series X version. Like, I don't even want to play the other version no more. Because I'm like, God, because it takes forever to go. So that's why I stopped playing.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, good. I could just go through this shit. I played some more Plants vs. Zombies. I tried that out. Again, the Battle for Middle-earth. Something like that. And the load times are faster on that, too, because they could be long.
Nice.
But then I remembered that, I got to unlock all this shit, like the microtransaction, and I got to go through these coins, and I wish they just would have put it in like they did the Nintendo Switch version, which I think they get everything. You get everything or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but because this is worse than 2. Like, at least 2, I get card packs. This, I got to put something in. I get one random item. One fucking random item. And then it might be an emote. Which I rarely use emotes in games.
You're just
only
not good
accident.
enough, Dominic. You gotta get good so you can just shoot people and then have the time to emote all over them.
Well, it's not even about the time. It's just I forget, and like I just don't care. So that sucks. But I think I played I just played like the horde mode of it. Tried that out.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that was fun. But yeah, just the whole thing of getting costumes and getting items for your characters is just, they made it too complicated in this one. Way more complicated than it should be. I mean, I guess it's not complicated if you're just gonna put money. If you just pay for that shit, I guess it's not that complicated. All right, so that's all I played. So I guess we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get to the flashback segment.
All right.
And we're back. And now we're flashbacking to 2011. So this week in 2011, we had Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 game, which came out on everything. So they actually... Did they have 2 games? They had Part 1 and Part 2?
They
did
split
them?
I'm sure they did.
Oh, man, those sons of bitches.
Cash in on that.
I wonder how long that game takes to win. Yeah, but think about it. It's been 10 years since Harry Potter ended, Daniel, in the movies.
I can't believe it.
It's been 10 years. Oh, man.
Getting old, Dominic.
That was the long one. That is something. Think about, like, they had, what was it, 8 movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's 7 books, right? And they had the Part 2. So 8 movies. They had 8 movies, Daniel. They spanned when they were little kids. They were slaved for 8 movies to do those movies. Stop.
Apparently it takes 5 hours to beat the first one and 4.5 to beat the second one. If you just do the main story.
That's a game. Yeah. But you could put those 2 games together and that would have been a game. All right. So next we got... Oh, no. I'm going to go back. I mean, since neither of us played the game and it probably sucked. But the movie, how did you like the movie?
I remember liking the movies at the time. There was...
Not all of the movies, Daniel. I'm just talking about this one.
Well, that's those 2 movies, I guess. But I think I remember liking this one. I hadn't really read the books at the time, so I didn't really know how things went. I'm sure I heard stuff up before then. Which one does Snape get killed in? I'm sure that's an earlier book, right? That's like Half-Blood Prince or something. Yeah, they felt very much adult. Like, it was weird.
Wait a minute. Snape lived? No, Dumbledore died.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Snape killed Dumbledore. That's what it was.
Yeah, Snape killed Dumbledore, but Snape does die.
In real life.
Yeah. In the movie too.
When does he die? Who kills him?
I think the last movie.
Oh, okay. Man.
I don't remember who.
I don't remember any of these. I don't remember any of this anymore, Dominic. It's all just one big blur. When did Dobby die? Dobby died at the end of Deathly Hallows 1, right? Because like they bury him at the end. And then
is that that's the little troll looking thing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because the Deathly Hallows Part 1 was like kind of very slow and plotting, but then the second one, it had a little bit of that, but for the most part, it was like big wizard action battles over Hogwarts and stuff, right? So, yeah, I'm sure I thought it was cool. I'd go back and watch those movies.
Yeah, I enjoyed them. I mean, I enjoyed that movie. Like, it was pretty good. Yeah. I was like, hey, it was a good ending. What I didn't like was the very end when they made him look older. I was like, oh god, this looks horrible.
Yeah, that was weird.
You couldn't just get older people. All right. So what else we got? We got Mighty Flip Champs DX came out for the PSN Network. I think a PlayStation Minis. Now, what was the PlayStation Minis?
They were like basically Nindies, I guess, the equivalent of that. It was like smaller indie games, though. I wouldn't say it was necessarily Nindies, because Nindies also includes things like Hollow Knight and stuff that are bigger like that. But
bigger, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like I was looking at this, because it's made by WayForward, who make like the Shantae games and stuff like that. So it seems all right. And it's just like a simple puzzle game, but you have like 2 screens on the screen at one time. So you were telling me it also came out on the DS, and it seems like a concept that was maybe more suited to the DS.
Actually came out, before, like 2 years before this one.
So you have like two screens and your character is moving the same way on both of them, but the screens are set up differently. So like if there's a ladder on the left screen, even though there's not one on the right screen, you can climb up. And then if you want to flip, you can flip it over. And then I think it looks like there are like 3 or 4 different screens, which kind of makes it confusing because only 2 are on screen at a time, but I guess you only really need 2 at a time. But it seems like it could actually be an all right kind of game. It seems like a clever little puzzle thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a cool concept.
Yeah.
All right, so what else we got here? We got NCAA Football 12 came out, 2012. Xbox 360, PS3. Man, I had this one. I don't remember who was on the cover, but it just makes you think like, yuck, NCAA is coming back soon. I don't know if it's coming back this year, but we're going to find out, right?
Where's our news at?
Yeah. When's the EA thing? Is it next week? This week?
I want to say it's like the 27th or something. For some reason, that sticks out in my head. Let's see.
So next week.
Come join us. When do you want me to join you? The 22nd. So yes, coming up very soon. Thursday.
Oh, Tim Tebow is on the front of this one. No, that's 11. No, that's 11. I don't know why they... Okay, damn you, Google. Damn you to hell. No, it was Mark Ingram.
Oh, okay.
Jr. was on the front, who was on the Ravens. The running back.
I guess that's why the name sounds relatively familiar.
I don't know if he's still there or not, but yes, he was a running back for the Ravens. Oh, his current team is the Texans now, so he's on Texas now. But he played for the Ravens for a few years, and he's been pretty good for us. He's been pretty damn good.
Nice.
Well, not us. I mean, because I live in Baltimore, but
you don't have to qualify.
I'm a Washington fan. And we get our name in 2022. I forgot to mention that in sports. We get our name in 2022.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna have a name. We just don't know what it is.
It's gonna be the Washington team.
Yeah.
Except they're gonna add officially like the established whatever year it was. It's gonna be the Washington team established in 1236 or whatever year it was.
It's 1236. All right. So what else we got? We got Puyo Puyo 20th anniversary. I want to say Tetris, Daniel, because I'm so used to saying Tetris after
those games don't exist outside of their combinations with Tetris.
Yeah, exactly. So there was the 20th anniversary of Puyo Puyo. A cool mini game, like a cool puzzle game, I should say. I like it. I actually enjoy that. I did enjoy it more than Texas. Tetris. But now, since I know how to play Tetris, it took me 35 years to learn.
I still don't know how to play Tetris. Am I supposed to get more lines and delete them at the same time, or can I just delete them one line at a time?
Okay. Maybe I don't know Tetris, but maybe I like so.
But you get the concept of it at least.
Yeah, I get the concept.
Yeah.
Yes, I do want to get some lines, and then I think I get more points if I get rid of more lines and not just keep it 0. Like try to get nothing.
Right.
I don't know. All right, but Puyo Puyo, I do know how to play, and I do like it. It gets tough though. I think they cheat when they don't give me the colors I need when they be coming down. Like I'll be like, oh, I need a blue, and I don't see a blue till it's too late, and that's I don't need a blue anymore, you bastards. All right. So what else we got? We got Call of Juarez, The Cartel. Came out, PS3, Xbox 360. Is this... I remember we talked about Call of Juarez before.
Yeah, I don't remember if this is one of the good ones.
Yeah.
I want to say this is like the latest one after the really good one, maybe? Let's see if I can do it based off names. No, Gunslinger, Call of Juarez Gunslinger came out after The Cartel, and I think... Gunslinger is like the really good one. I don't know. I can't remember.
I'm trying to look at the Metacritic here.
I was going to say, what did this get us?
Oh, this is a bad game.
Oh, yeah. 51, 45, 47. That's rough. See what Gunslingers
this was
got.
not good.
Yeah, Gunslingers got 72, 79, 75, 76.
And you know what? The other games took place in like the past, right? This is like its current times.
That sounds right.
Yeah, because I see a helicopter. Was there helicopters back in the Old West?
Yeah, it sounds like, it looks like, based on Wiki, that this is a neo-Western. So I guess, you know, still ride horses, but you get chased by helicopters.
Like Justified.
Yep, exactly.
Right. So what we got here? We got Captain America Super Soldier. It's been 10 years, Daniel, since Captain America.
Yeah.
The America's Hero.
10
That
years
was the
since we
subtitle,
got this
right?
beautiful licensed game. That was
What
also
the
back
subtitle
when
for
they
that?
were pushing like the 3D on the PlayStation versions of games.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was on the cover, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was the subtitle? Captain America
Super Soldier.
America.
Oh,
That was
First
the
Avenger,
subtitle?
the movie.
The First Avenger. Yeah, that's
the
what
First
it was.
Avenger. The very
that was
first
a lie.
Avenger, Dominic.
That was a lie, Daniel.
Until we find out all the other Avengers.
Wait, I'm trying to think. Who was before Captain America? Technically.
Nobody, because we didn't call them Avengers.
We didn't even call him an Avenger.
He avenged, though, Dominic. So we retroactively called him an Avenger. Because he became an Avenger.
Did they change his name in other countries so they can?
Yes, he was Captain China in China.
That they thinking.
That would actually be pretty great if they had done that and they just like CG'd over all the US flags and stuff, stars and stripes on them. They just put, different countries' propaganda all over them.
Let's say Captain Avenger.
I could do that too. That's generic. Yeah. He's got a big A on his helmet. Why not?
Yeah. All right. So that came on almost everything. And I don't see PC up here. PC did not get this, or maybe they got it later. They're missing out.
Wouldn't be surprised if it didn't come to PC because this was Sega. Like during the time that Sega didn't realize that they were leaving money on the table by not releasing PC games.
Yeah. All right. I wonder if the DS version was pretty good. Was that 3D or was that a 2D game?
That's a good question. I feel like I want to say I looked it up one time and it was a 3D one.
Yep, it is. So it probably sucked balls. Yeah. It got Nintendo Lite gave it a 6 out of 10. That's actually kind of good for something like that. It got a 61 on PS3, a 57 on the Wii, and a 60 on the Xbox.
I feel like people were talking about it like, oh, this is kind of like a God of War type thing. Like it wasn't terrible at the time.
It came out on the 3DS. It don't come out to 3DS till October.
Oh, wow.
So they had to wait for this gem to the Blu-ray. All right. What else we got here, Dan? We got that is it for 2011. So now we're going back 20 years to 2001 and we got The Corporate Machine. Came out on Windows. This is a strategy game where you pay basically like a corporation and you're just trying to take down other corporations. Like it's you're doing everything like trying to let me see, like you like doing trades and trying to beat out the competition. It's something like that. But I heard it's got rated all right.
So it's Capitalism, the video game.
Yeah, basically. Which I think that is a video game. I feel like there is a game called Capitalism, video game.
If not,
it's probably like a small indie game or something. And it's probably a fighting game too.
Mm-hmm.
Probably play
published
as
by
like Jeff Bezos.
Gotta mean something, right?
You said Take-Two?
Yeah, they published it.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
The Corporate Machine. Oh, beautiful. I like that the website for the game is still up. I can buy it for $10. It looks almost like one of those like army map kind of games, but for capitalism instead.
There's a game called Human Resource Machine. And it's by the people who did World of Goo.
That sounds familiar for some reason.
I probably did hear some podcast talk about this. But yeah, it's just like business. It's called, I think in Europe, it's called as Business Tycoon.
Because they don't have capitalism over there, Dominic. It's all communism.
They do Tycoon? Take-Two is Rollercoaster Tycoon?
I don't know.
They were 2K, weren't they? Oh, shit. Wait a minute, it's 2K's part of Take-Two, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or was? Or it is. Still is.
Something like that. Publisher, Microprose, Frontier Developments, Epic Games.
Nah. But maybe Tycoon is, you can still use it.
Atari, Activision, Hasbro. Basically everybody.
Oh, it is a follow-up to... There was a Business Tycoon in America. Is a follow-up to that. Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it got rated all right. GameSpot gave it 8.4.
Back when like everybody was using the Tycoon name, even though Tycoon was like really a brand that they should have been able to, to like copyright or something. Excuse me.
Yeah, GameSpot gave it 8.4. IGN gave it 8.1. So yeah, it seemed like it's probably a cool game on world domination through corporate warfare. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just too real nowadays, Dominic.
I know.
That's
really
life
is.
now.
All right. Well, it's not that many corporations though. They all did. There's like just a few.
Yes, because those corporations are dominating the world.
Yeah, exactly. They are doing it.
I'm looking at you, Bezos.
And then they go into space.
I was gonna say, you too, Richard Branson. Fucking, you didn't go to space. You went near space.
I know. Yeah.
You kissed space.
No, he had the balls. He had the balls to leave.
Then you fell back to Earth like Icarus.
All right, so what else I got here, Dan? I got, I'm going to do City Crisis. And I looked up the game, Dan, and I totally forgot what I was looking at.
So it's a gem, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a helicopter simulation game, and it looks like you can bomb things. I don't know if you're bombing the buildings, or maybe you're trying to stop people from...
You gotta stop the terrorists, Dominic. Or you're causing the crisis. Yeah, it could be either one. Another beautiful Take-Two joint.
Yep, Darren. Yeah, Take-Two, man. They were coming out with some games. When did Take-Two started? When did they put out?
I feel like a long time before 1993. I realized it. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, but let's see what's like their first game. Starting with Star Crusader. Okay, what's the first game we know that what it is? The Jeopardy. So they did one of them. All right. So yeah, City Crisis. Let me see here. You're in the player's role in the game. So you're a rescue helicopter? Oh, okay. So you're saving people from disasters, save civilians from fires that spring up around the city. The player must also put out the fires using water that is dumped from the helicopter. Each mission has a time limit, but the faster the player saves the people and puts out the fire, the more time they can receive to complete the next part of the mission. Okay. They should come back and do like the forest fires over there on the West Coast.
Talk about too real, Dominic.
Yeah. All right. So that is... Oh, no, it's not it. My last one. This great gem came out 20 years ago. The Robert Redford Saves the Day. Episode 2. This is episode 2 that came out. The Pit and the Pendulum. Thing is, I didn't know about episode 1. So
I still don't know about episode 1. I don't know if that exists.
I don't. This game... you tell it, because you saw it first.
This is some I made it in my basement kind of bullshit. There's no way this is a real game, Dominic, because it looks like a game made by somebody, one person, as a joke. And it sounds like it is a joke game based on the, I guess, reviews, I would say, on this adventure game studio website that you had linked me to. Apparently it kind of reminds me of like classic adventure games mixed with South Park, because they have like celebrity head of Harrison Ford on your main character, because apparently Harrison Ford is playing Robert Redford in this video game. I don't even know. I am very tempted to actually download it though and see what it's all about. It
looks like it's just something. Yeah, that's like a little. Yeah, like you said, a joke, like a little joke game.
Yeah,
but it's a funny concept that they don't have Robert Redford there, but having someone else famous play as him. Yeah, playing as him. That is pretty funny. All right, so that is it for the flashback segment. Now we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we get into the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. And now we're getting to the gaming news. So what we got, Dan?
All right, Dominic. So right off the top, we've got a whole bunch of delays all of a sudden. I don't know what prompted these companies. I guess maybe it's like the end of a fiscal quarter or something like that. But yeah, so we've got Resident Evil RE-verse, the multiplayer weird cel-shaded thing that was supposed to be coming as like packed in with Resident Evil 8. That has been delayed to 2022. We're not sure when.
What the hell? Like, is it going to be like a bigger game by the time it comes out? Like a full game?
You would hope so. Or I don't know. I saw a lot of people in the comments calling for Capcom to just cancel this thing, which...
Yeah, because it looked like it was it looked like a pack-in game.
Yeah.
So for it to be delayed to 2022, I'm thinking, okay, are y'all working on something to make it better or like a bigger game now? That's a lot more filler. It's more of like a full game now, or you really gonna just bring this out? And
hey guys,
like,
remember
what was this going to sell for?
When you bought Resident Evil 8? Well, we got this free thing for you still.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is it just going to be like free to Resident 8 people, or you can buy it by itself, and then is it even worth buying by itself?
Right. Yeah, that's a rough look for Capcom. I don't know. Like, even if
was it something? Yeah, go ahead.
Even if it had released this month, which I think originally was when it was supposed to, it still feels way too late for that thing to not be available right at the time when the Resident Evil talk was the hottest. But now we're talking sometime in 2022, and that's a rough look for this game. I am not entirely convinced that it's going to come out unless they can tie it into something else.
It just that this is also a game that really nobody's really interested in.
Right.
Not a lot of people. It's just, I don't hear really no talks like, man, I can't wait to play this. Like, this is like the least interesting thing, probably from like the talks of the new RE games coming out.
Absolutely. Yeah, because then they also announced like the mercenaries stuff that was a part of 8, and it's like, well, if you're doing that multiplayer thing, why are you doing this?
Yeah, why are you doing this? Yeah.
So, yeah,
and the mercenaries rough. I'd probably rather do, because RE8 is like, that's the versus shooter, right?
It's like I think Mercenaries is like the arcade style shooter where it's like you're competing against time, and there might be co-ops. I think there was co-op stuff to it too.
No, yeah, I was talking about RE-verse. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the one that's like competitive kind of thing, third person shooter.
I would rather have Mercenaries.
Yeah.
God, I just saw a big ass hornet outside my door.
Keep it outside the door. Yikes. Those are the cicada killing hornets. They came out too late, Dominic.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, now that we killed all the cicadas, we got to kill the humans too.
It's either a wasp or a hornet. I don't know. I won't say it's a murder hornet.
Either way.
Like, hey, a murder hornet. But I don't think it didn't look like it. I saw too much yellow.
You gotta call in pest control. All right, Dominic, after that, we've got another one delayed to 2022. This time you at least get a window of early 2022. We got Ghostwire Tokyo. That is the PlayStation exclusive coming from the guys that did... why am I blanking on the name of those games? Kind of like RE, kind of like Silent Hill.
Oh, Evil Within?
Yes, thank you. Exactly. From that studio. Also now technically owned by Microsoft, so this is only pushing off the inevitable release on the Xbox further and further out.
I know. They need to just break that contract. Just pay them.
I wonder how much that would cost them. It couldn't be that much in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that game looks cool, but unfortunately, I was a little bit surprised that it was still even being talked about for this year, because we hadn't really heard anything about it.
Yeah.
So this doesn't come as too much of a surprise to me, honestly.
Yeah, it's not a big surprise, because all you heard all year was Deathloop. Like, Ghostwire Tokyo. Only thing I know about that is that they got rid of that lady that everybody loved.
Yes.
Who talked about the game. That's the only thing I really know about this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like first person, and yeah, that's about it. Magical powers or something? Ghost powers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one we got, Dominic, Warhammer 40K Dark Tide. That is one of our many Left 4 Dead style multiplayer games that is being delayed to 2022. So it's lightening up a little bit for Left 4 Blood. So the game might have more of a chance. Or what is it called?
Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood. Thank you. I knew that didn't quite sound right. That's what people call it,
though. Back 4 Blood.
Yeah. Back 4 Blood. So it's opening up the window for that one a little more. And also Rainbow Six Extinction got delayed until January 2022. So another one of those, not quite the same thing, but similar style cooperative versus the computer game. Opening up that window.
I wonder how much that game was going to cost. I wonder if that is a full game. If that's $60, well, like, I know it is going to be probably most likely $60,
$70.
But is it really, or $70?
Ugh.
But is it really a full game, or could they have added DL? That could have been like a $20 to $30 DLC or something.
Yeah, because like, how much story is in this game? Is there like a mode for that? If it's just multiplayer stuff, it really feels just like kind of an add-on thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, shit, what does Rainbow Six Siege have a story mode?
No.
But how much that game? I think it was full price when it first came out, right?
I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
But by the time it got good, it wasn't though.
Yeah. By the time it wasn't, it was like $5.
Yeah.
Let's see. How much is it if I buy it right now on the PS5? See, they got all this tiered nonsense. Deluxe edition, operator edition, ultimate edition. In the deluxe edition, you get year 1 operators and year 2 operators. In the operator edition, you get years 1 through 5. Oh my God, there's been 5 years. Then the ultimate edition, you get the disruptor pack. In the standard edition, that doesn't exist on the PlayStation, apparently. See how much the deluxe edition is, and $40. So $40 for the PS5 version of the base level thing, basically, and it goes all the way up to $80 with the Operators Edition. Or no, I'm sorry, $100 with the Ultimate Edition. And that comes with the PS4 and PS5 versions. Yeah, I can't help but think if they're smart, they won't release it at full price, but I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they did anyway.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. That one's not too long a delay though, January 2022. I mean, no. Outside of this year, that is. And all these basically were like, hey, COVID happened and things are still hard. So we're working on games and we're trying not to burn out our people. Because a lot of it was like, we're not sacrificing the health of our company, even though I'm sure like all 4 of these games are going to see crunch at some point in time, unfortunately, because
as they should.
Stop it.
Because we need it.
Because we need it. I mean, yeah. It's interesting because I went back and was listening to the Jason Schreier book. What is the first one? Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. And they have a chapter on Uncharted 4. And he basically starts it out talking about how, like, most other studios are like, we're going to try and avoid crunch as much as possible. Whereas Naughty Dog is like, we've embraced the crunch. This is what needs to happen to make games this good. And it just reminds me of like anytime you say like, we need to do this. It's like, if you get games as good as Naughty Dog games, maybe they do need to do this.
Yeah.
All right, Dominic.
They just need to have it like, a memorial. Like for people who have gotten sick and died from making these games, have it like where the soldiers over in Washington. I mean, when they have all the where they have the dead soldiers at, they should have one for the video game makers and say, hey, look, they sacrificed themselves.
They should have an Arlington cemetery equivalent for
over in
Vietnam
I guess
War wall.
We'll be over in like.
Could be in California,
Seattle or something, I guess, or somewhere. And
San Francisco.
And so all the people died. I'm telling you, because we don't know this. I think a lot of Japanese people died making video games.
I don't want to talk about this anymore, Dominic. Only because
I was surprised a lot of that shit was suicide. I think they did, Daniel. I think they did.
I don't think you're wrong entirely, which is very concerning.
Mario was awesome.
The amount of people that sacrifice for Mario Sunshine.
Oh God.
Yikes. Yikes. All right, Dominic, let's move on to some lighter news here. We got Maneater. It's getting some DLC. Truth Quest is what they're calling it. It's going to add some story stuff as well as some like new levels. I think you can level past whatever the cap was. 45 or something like that, and adds new evolutions and a new apex predator. That's coming out on August 31st for $15. So I know you were playing Maneater there for a while. Is there any draw to get you back there?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to play it again. Just that I got to beat one of these games, man. These games are taking a lot of my time. Like I want to get back in. I probably won't be playing the DLC because I think enough of the first game, playing that game will be enough for me. But yeah, and it is on the cloud, so I wonder can it transfer from the PC one? I wonder if that's another one that can transfer my character so I can use the trainer and put it in.
Level all the way up to Electric Shark.
So I only a month, so I don't know if I have time. I probably have to do yours. I'll have to just go under your name on the PC, use the trainer, stack them all up like he's really strong, and then
get me banned from Xbox Live.
Yeah, it goes like. Yeah, as long as you don't play online, I don't ever hear anything, and as long as because now some games they do have like anti-cheat and like Gears and Halo. So you just. But see, with Halo, they have it so you can play with that off. So you're separated from everyone else. Like, you can't play online. It's just you can play single player, which I wish Gears would have done that. You can do that too. Cool. But Halo does. So hopefully in the future Xbox games, they will do that. Like, hey, like when Forza comes out, because you will get banned. I heard people say, look, you got to turn off online because you will get banned if they see that you added some more money to your account. Oh yeah. So I wish they would do the next Forza like, look, this is separated, but you probably can't do certain things because you gotta be online. Right. Like, cause people could do mods and stuff like that. But then if you want to play online, you can't transfer that stuff. You can't transfer your money over or anything. So you're going to have to do that on your own. I know it's a little complicated because they feel like, you probably lose some people because, hey, I just do everything. I just won't play with nobody. But the joy is playing with people, too. So I think you can still have both. Because I think you still can do both and people will be okay with it. All right. So, what were we talking about? Maneater.
Maneater.
Oh yeah, that's so. Yeah, so I guess there's really not else to say about that. But no, it's cool that they're continuing something with this game.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
this
seems
game's
like people
pretty
are
fun.
positive on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Dominic, and some other news. We got the cover athletes for NBA 2K22 announced. And on the standard edition and the cross-gen digital versions, you have Luka Doncic. So,
Ooh,
big player.
Luka.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic. They finally they heard the cries from the from white people. They were like, "Man, they be tired of seeing these brothers up here. Why can't we get somebody that's like us?"
Yep.
They said, "Here you go."
And that's only
Luka.
furthered by the Ultimate Edition, or the 75th anniversary of the NBA edition, which has Kevin Durant and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, as well as superstar white guy Dirk Nowitzki.
Yes.
Representing the white
Yes,
people.
the great player. Great player. But you know what? Technically, Larry Bird was on the cover. He was with Magic and Jordan.
That's true.
I believe that's what it was.
That's right,
So-
Dominic. Always got to keep a white person on there to keep us happy.
Yeah. But no, Luka deserves it. I mean, he's one of the top players now. He's one of the well-known players.
Yeah.
So he definitely deserves it. I like watching him play.
Nice. And along with that, Dominic, there's also one more player that's going to be included on a GameStop exclusive copy. Candace Parker of the Chicago Sky, WNBA superstar. She's going to be on the cover as well. So that's pretty cool. They added the WNBA stuff, last year or the year before?
Last year. Well, WNBA has been there for some years,
But it was
they
like a
added
story mode or something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they added like a career mode, not really a
That's
career
what it
mode,
was.
I should say.
The
It's not really a
W.
story, yeah. Which I hope they can do a story mode now, but having a career mode is good enough for me because sometimes the story sucks anyway. Like, I like that aspect of having like a career. Darren, why does it be exclusive? You know, I wish it wasn't just exclusive to GameStop. But it's cool. But I'm happy that there is a cover, and of course, because it's the internet, you have people angry about this, and it's like, why are you angry? First of all, don't go to GameStop. Second of all, it's just the cover. It's not what they're not forcing you to play the WNBA in the game.
Yeah.
It's just a damn cover. You know how many times I see the cover of these sports games of players I don't like on teams I hate?
Remember how
Or
many
dislike?
times Yankees have been on the covers of baseball games? LeBron has been on the cover of NBA games.
Yeah, that, and then you got Tom Brady, and it had Gronk, and then now it's going to be Tom Brady again with Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Oh, man, I'm not, yeah, it's just like, it's not a big deal. Like, I bought MLB 2K when it had, like, Derek Jeter up there for, like, 2 years in a row or something like that. It's not, whatever.
But you got to understand, Dominic, I buy these games and then I sit them on my shelf with the cover facing out to display, to show anybody that is coming in my house that this is the game I am currently playing. And what happens if they say a lady basketball player on it? They're going to be so angry with me.
Yeah.
Going to judge me.
It's ridiculous. Like, this is not even, like, it's not even worth getting angry about. Like, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, man.
It's really laughable. Yeah, especially when it's something so niche too, where it's like I have to go into GameStop and I have to buy a physical copy of this. Like, also it'd be nice if they just, for like digital editions, if they just made an icon for like every team, so I could just be like, here's my Orioles oriented, or here's my, Washington Wizards oriented icon that I'm going to launch the game from. Like, it's not a big deal, but also it would be cool.
Give me an NFT. Make it an NFT.
No, I'm not buying an NFT.
Make it so it's only unlimited. Like the hurry. So, I gotta hurry up and get my Oreos before somebody can get it.
Got my NFT of my Cal Ripken fucking icon or whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, just give me the Oriole bird. Like, Oriole bird is eternal, Dominic. He can never do anything
Which
wrong.
one? The realistic one or the cartoon one?
The cartoon one.
Okay.
Only ever the cartoon one. The real one killed my parents.
All All right, so what else we got here?
All right, Dominic, we got some big news in the world of Netflix, some moving and shaking going on. They have brought on former EA and Facebook exec Mike Verdu to head up their game development as the VP of game development. So it sounds like, based on the article from Bloomberg, which, considering how things went with the Switch, we're not going to trust them anymore. But there was some reporting out of Bloomberg that apparently Netflix is trying to get into the gaming space along with this move, of course, gives some indication of that. But within the year, they're talking about having game streaming as part of their current model, just like an xCloud or whatever. So
Stadia.
Say
Stadia. That's the best one.
Stadia, Amazon Cloud something, whatever that thing's called. So cool if it's not going to cost any more money and is actually going to work. But is this a good move for Netflix? This almost screams to me Stadia, right? Where it's like this big tech company that thinks, oh, we can do anything. We're already doing something similar. We're going to get into this space, and then they're going to give up on this space within a year.
Well, at least with them, you're paying a monthly, right?
Right.
Or I mean, we're assuming.
Yeah. So you already, that's true. You already you're locked into that monthly thing, and along with that should come the games available, right?
Yeah, you're not playing individual games. See, Stadia, that's the problem. That's the problem with Stadia for me. I had no problem other than that.
Yeah.
Is that, or probably, like, maybe not enough games, but the real big problem is that, because I would try it. I would try it for a month, because there'd be a few games I only play a month anyway. Mm-hmm. So, but they don't have that where I can play, well, they got only a few free
whatever
games.
The, like Prime, basically.
Like, I think Destiny 2 is probably the biggest one. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to pay $60 for a game
that I'm going to lose access
and to. I just don't trust it. I just don't trust that. It's hard for me to trust that. I'd rather play for the service.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the upside of, like, the Xbox, right? Because especially, like, once they get into, like, you actually being able to stream the games that you own as well, or something like a Steam thing where it's like, oh, I already own these games, or like, I guess Nvidia, because Steam doesn't really have anything natively right now, but like Nvidia, where it's like, oh, I can just stream the games that I already bought to play on my PC elsewhere. I don't have to buy them on this specific service. Yeah, it's definitely been the downfall of Google Stadia in a lot of ways. But yeah, you mentioning Resident Evil, though, kind of made me think, like, Castlevania. Netflix does have, like, that whole RE stuff going on right now. Could RE-verse end up being, like, a Netflix exclusive or a Netflix, I don't know.
It should be like that Minecraft game they had.
Yeah, because they have explored stuff like this in the past.
Yeah, make it like you choose to shoot that guy or not, and you run through this hallway.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they're going full on games. So
yeah, I know. That was just joking, but they have started with Minecraft though.
Yeah,
they have started, but there's other things like the Minecraft game that's like choose. There's a few of them, not many. I mean, if there are more, I didn't know about them because when I looked up that. Like games, shows that you could, interactive shows, I guess. I forgot they were calling it. There were some other ones too.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's that Bandersnatch one, the like, whatever that show's called. I can't think of it. Dark Mirror.
Yeah.
So that'd be, it's interesting. Like, especially if it's part of the subscription that I already am paying for, I'll absolutely give it a try as long as I'm not.
Well, if it's a few more bucks more.
Separately.
Yeah, if it's a few bucks more. It probably. I mean, it all depends what you're paying. It's probably not a big deal, especially if you're getting games.
Yeah,
because
and it really depends on the selection and how I'm feeling about like Game Pass. Because right now, like Game Pass is just, I'm willing to give Microsoft my money because I see that they are supporting Game Pass. They are doing a lot of things in their power to make Game Pass actively better on a weekly, monthly, daily basis. Like I'm seeing the work put in there. Like even just having them upgrade their servers to be equivalent to like the X and the S, the series consoles, I should say, and you telling me how much better that stuff is because it's running off of that stuff. Like I'm seeing it there. If you just let me do that stuff from my Xbox and not have to buy a new Series X because now my Xbox One basically runs those games, but streaming, of course, at the same level of mostly fidelity and loading times and things, like that to me is screaming consumer friendly. Like they're telling me that I don't have to buy a box to get this. So I think that's very cool. Again, there are obviously some people that are going to be more apprehensive about the whole streaming future because they live in an area that doesn't necessarily have high-speed internet in the same way that you and I do. But as an option for those of us that are in these areas, like I'm here for it, Dominic. I like it.
And then, you're still going to have it where there's some games that probably won't be there. Mm-hmm. So you probably want that. But it's just that I feel like I can miss out. Like maybe later down the line, I'll get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X when it's a lot cheaper. Where I don't mind doing that, or I might get a better PC because maybe hopefully that game's on PC also, and then I can play it. I can get that game, and then it's also gonna be cheaper because you know how cheap things go on PC games, like real cheap. But I just hope I get to a point where all the games are like that, like can be at least be streamed. But I know all of them not. But I hope I get to the point where you get at least close to it.
Yeah,
like
we'll get there with everyone except Nintendo.
Yeah. That's Nintendo's probably the only one. Yeah.
All right, Dominic. And in the biggest news I've got this week, Valve has announced the Steam Deck, which there have been rumors going around about them releasing a handheld.
I remember we talked about that.
Yeah, it's basically a portable PC with a 7-inch 720p screen.
And NVIDIA was going to do it first, but they kind of did it first years ago
with the Shield.
With the NVIDIA Shield portable.
Yep. Yeah, so this thing sounds like a powerhouse. It's going to allow you to run your PC library, your Steam library, games like Control, Star Wars Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order are ones that they kind of showed off as I can't think of the thing.
What?
Just kind of like top examples. We'll say prime
another game
examples.
You can't think of?
What's that?
What you can't think of?
Just the word I'm looking for.
Word.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the game.
But yeah, basically is the prime examples for what this thing can pull off. And at 720p, it makes a little more sense that you don't need something as powerful as, the next gen consoles to run this thing. It sounds like equivalency wise, based on the Digital Foundry video I was watching, they were saying Series S, but minimized. So I think instead of 8 cores, it's 4 cores and, technical jargon like that. It's got all the normal buttons you would expect on a controller. It also has 2 touch pads, kind of similar to the Steam controller, that kind of thing that they were going with.
Yeah.
To emulate like mouse movement and stuff. Cause they're basically saying like any game you can play on Steam, you can try and get running on this. Also, allegedly, you can basically just run Windows on it and fire up the Epic Store and, Game Pass. Wink, wink. So there you go. Pricing wise, $399 for a 64 gigabyte version, which is going to be flash memory basically. So like SD card equivalent. For $529, you're going to get a 256 gig, which is going to be NVMe, which means faster load times. And then there's going to be a 512 gigabyte version as well for $649. And that one also includes, it says like etched glass for like anti-glare. So that's kind of the only hardware change outside of the memory, it sounds like, in the different tiers. You're also going to get like a carrying case with it. Visually, this thing looks like Game Gear's bigger brother, Dominic. Like
it does.
The design aesthetic of it is very like utilitarian. This is how big this thing needed to be to make all these things fit. And one of the things that concerns me, because like it's interesting that it's got those touchpads on it. It also has 2 extra buttons on the back of either side. So like kind of the Elite controller for the Xbox has. But the way the controls are oriented, you have the D-pad and the thumbstick on the left side at equal levels, like they're even. And the D-pad is very much close to the edge of the system. And the same on the right-hand side, you have the buttons close to the edge and then the stick at the same level. And I very much feel like the B or O or circle button equivalent on the right-hand side is very much close to the edge of that system. And I could very much see it being cramp-inducing to try and use like the D-pad and those buttons. I don't like that. I haven't heard people complain about it yet, but I think the only people that have been hands-on with it so far are IGN.
Yeah, and he said it felt comfortable. I think one guy said it feels comfortable because I was confused. I didn't really like the thumbstick where they located. I wanted the thumbstick to be like how the Xbox controller is,
right.
or similar to that, the cross, but not the same, because I remember the Wii U remote thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like how that feel, and I was thinking about that. It's like, oh man. They said the IGN guy said, "Hey, it actually feels pretty good. It's in his hands, on his hands, or something like that." So it's something I would have to feel. I have to feel for myself. I mean, this sounds great because I can just imagine like playing some of these games, just on the go or laying in bed or something. And
your Civ addiction would only get worse, Dominic.
Yeah, and then I can have my trainers.
Yep.
Because it said it has a OS, right?
Yeah, so it has an OS, but also you could install like Windows or Linux on it yourself. So yeah, I'm sure there would be a way for you to get your trainers in there if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So it definitely seems like
fantasy.
A very cool concept. It also sounds like they're kind of open to other PC manufacturers kind of taking the idea and running with it, which is kind of what you saw with the VR stuff too. They were like, hey, this is kind of what we're doing. Maybe everybody else do it as well. The pricing for the low end seems extremely aggressive. I know Gabe was out there on IGN basically saying it was painful to kind of get that price point, I guess. You and I were talking about it though. It sounds like that's not necessarily the one you want though, because that 256 model does have NVMe storage, which means the faster load times. And it also does have an expansion slot for an SD card. So if you did get the 64 version, you could, get a whole lot more room, because 64 is kind of low. If we're talking just PC games, that those things have ballooned quite a bit in size.
Oh yeah.
But you're not going to get that same level of speed. Now, one of the things that concerns me about this, as far as like adoption and people actually getting into it, it seems like a very niche product, because it's going to be like for tinkerers. Like, you're still just playing the PC version, which means you're not going to get the experience intended necessarily. Like, you're going to have to fiddle with it and go like, oh, well, I want this handheld to run it at 60, so I'm going to turn down the shadows and, turn up this and turn up that. And I'm sure they're going to have either some kind of software, or they're going to expect developers to basically, the way it kind of does now, auto detect and go, okay, this is what we think your system's going to run at. But you and I both know, like, that's not always where you want the settings to be. Like, sometimes they're a little conservative, and it's like, oh, I can turn this up. Or sometimes they're a little optimistic, and it's like, oh, shit, I got to turn this down to get 30 frames per second. It's just going to be, it's going to be a messy experience, I feel like. And I think that's going to turn people away.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it's a wait and see, really.
And
for me,
right now, it sounds like, well, it doesn't sound like they announced that it's launching in December. If you go to get a reservation right now on any of the models, it's telling you to expect delivery around Q2 of 2022. So if you haven't already bought in, then it's going to be a while. So you're going to get some impressions from some people before you get there. But it's cool. I like that Valve is willing to do like these kind of off the wall things. Like, I don't think anybody else is out there really making portable PCs in that way. I mean, there are some companies, but they're also very expensive. There are $1,000 units that are doing similar things to this right now. It basically lets you run Windows on a handheld. And of course, like you said, the NVIDIA Shield did something similar. But yeah, it's off the wall enough to maybe work for them, but I'm not entirely convinced that this isn't anything more than just another one of those things that they're going to just kind of throw out into the market, test the waters a little bit, and hope maybe somebody else bites on, because the reality of it is they aren't necessarily looking to make video game hardware, but they are trying to motivate people to buy more games on Steam. And this is just another way for them to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, because I always looked at the NVIDIA Shield portable one when it came out years ago. I was like, oh man, this is cool, like to play some of these PC games handheld. Mm-hmm. And I got into it, and yeah, that didn't sell well. Like that, they stopped that. But it was, I think it got rated pretty good. It was okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it looks like, so this is just seems like an extension of that now. And I don't know. I mean, because I know a lot of things you can do that's probably not legal, with this thing, that I can see the possibilities.
Yes, so many emulators.
Like emulators. Yeah, emulators and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's what...
Now, did we talk about it on here, or were you and I just talking about it off? Like, now that there are Switch emulators out there, which is crazy to me, like, could you imagine basically having a Switch but running the things in the way that you would actually want them to run?
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
That's wild. Just like, oh, I can't play, Link's Awakening on the Switch in the way I want, but on this Valve Steam Deck, I can now play it at a higher at the same resolution, I guess, but at a much higher frame rate. That's funny.
Yeah, that Switch emulation, that scene has gotten big. Like, they are getting these games pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like when they come out, like it was like hard. I mean, it was pretty tough at first. Like, you didn't really see it much, or it wasn't working right when I was reading the forums. Mm-hmm. But now I saw that, yeah, they are getting them out there, and people are easily just downloading these games crazy. Now.
Yeah, and Nintendo has proven with the Switch that people are willing to play full-size games on the go. Because I know there was a while there, like around the time that the Vita came out, and they came out with like Uncharted and Killzone, and people were like, see, people just don't want to play these full epic experiences on a handheld. And it's like, nah, people just, maybe at that time they weren't ready or the screen wasn't big enough. But now, people are willing to play Control on the Switch via streaming. So why not let them play natively on this weird handheld PC?
Yeah, I just want to know, But the Vita seemed like it did well in Japan, and maybe it just didn't catch on here enough, and maybe the DS was just, I don't know, because the thing is, it was because with the DS, you could say, like, a DS is like, seemed like it's kiddie, while PlayStation had more of the hardcore games. Mm. And I guess it still didn't get those hardcore guys. It still didn't grab them, and you weren't going to get those Nintendo people to get another handheld.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was. And with Japan, it's different because of the way they commute.
Exactly.
So they always want something handheld. So I guess it just wasn't. Maybe the market just couldn't hit over here. It can't be more than one. You only could be one.
Yeah. Nintendo was just such a dominant force at that time.
If Nintendo was the Vita, that would sell a whole lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, at the time it was very much the narrative of just like, oh, this is Nintendo's, corner of the market. This is what they do. Nobody can compete with them, even if you come out with superior hardware and superior games. I mean, obviously you're not coming out with Nintendo games, but like the Vita had some solid software come out with alongside of it, but it seemed like it kind of failed so quickly that there just wasn't the support. There wasn't the long tail of support for it that it needed.
Because it just started being games that you can play on your console.
Yeah.
Like you see, there's a Vita version. There's a Vita version of this, which is not bad, but when that was like the only thing, it was like, that's...
Exactly.
Like, why?
Yep.
And then also the whole thing of people... with the internet, like you say, you have to pay for a service. But now you see that with Nintendo, that, just go, Wi-Fi is like everywhere now, and
basically, yeah.
So, yeah, Wi-Fi is everywhere. I mean, Wi-Fi was getting to be places when the Vita came out. Like, you were getting it at McDonald's and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like literally everywhere. Like, every place has Wi-Fi.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, Dominic, did you have anything else for the week?
Nah, man. I think I'm good.
All right, Dominic, new releases this week. We got F1 2021 on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series consoles. Get your open wheel racing on. Is that the same thing?
Man, F1 Series must be popular. It comes out every year.
Yeah, I mean, people
I don't see NASCAR every year.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Is it just maybe like the video game audience is more in tune with F1 racing?
Well, I think F1 is more worldwide.
That's true.
Because NASCAR is more American.
Yeah.
Well, very much American, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because who makes these games? I typed in D1 and got basketball results.
Codemasters.
And where's Codemasters? I mean, they're the ones that are owned by EA now, right?
Yeah. Codemasters, the UK.
That makes perfect sense then. See, now that they got bought by EA, though, Dominic, EA, the American company, is going to force them to make NASCAR games.
Yep.
It's going to be very exciting. Yeah, I mean, people that are very serious about racing games, I think, are pretty into these F1 games, or have been for the last couple of years. So it's not entirely surprising. I mean, I think it's more surprising to me that we don't see more NASCAR games, to be honest with you. And I don't know if that's just because that role is filled by like a Forza or, some other car series that does something similar, at least. I don't know. Kind of weird. All right, Dominic. And then the other release we got this week, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD for the Nintendo Switch. And it is the best Zelda game, Dominic, according to all the reviews.
I saw a couple with 8s. But, yeah, compared to when it first came out, you saw 10s. I mean, you see 10s on every Zelda
game. The brainwashing was real, Dominic.
I can't get past the motion controls, really. Like, they weren't that great. I mean, I got through, but yes, there was a lot of hand-holding, and V was annoying. And, like, it did a lot of things. But you know what? If it didn't have the motion controls, I probably can get past that. I can really talk about the other things that weren't great about the game. But thing is, the motion controls was the big part for me. For me personally, while people who got past it, they have other problems with the game also. They say, like, the puzzles, they would handhold you through the puzzles. Like, they would tell you to, like, really show you the answer without you really trying to solve them. Of course, I didn't like the flying the bird. Yeah. It seemed like when I was trying, the motion of I was doing what it told me to do, but I don't know. I just kept going down. I wasn't going where I wanted to go to. It was very pissed me off. It pissed me off. So I'm really hoping that Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever they call it, I hope if they do have a bird or something there, or some type of flying, please do not make it that you have to use motion control or the right stick to do something.
See, I wonder how the bird stuff in this game is done. Do you have to use the right stick to emulate the motion stuff, or did they actually streamline that stuff a little more too?
It seems like it has to be, man. Because how would you even do that? I want to mess up your little knobs, cheap ass knobs, man. Because I got to keep moving it like that to moving around, shit.
Yeah, I did see that they actually do have camera controls. So, like, if you're using motion controls, you can just use the right stick to turn the camera around, which would be a great improvement. God. And then in the motion control or the controller controls, so if you're using the stick for motion, then if you hold down the left button, the left shoulder button, then you can use it to control the camera. So I think that would be a great improvement over what was there.
Definitely.
There's part of me that's kind of tempted by this, Dominic. Like some of those dungeons were cool. I remember that, I got further than you did. Yeah, you did.
It was cool. I mean, that's why I said some of those problems that people had, I think I was so focused on the controller that I didn't really look at that, like the feed hold handing. I didn't. I mean, it wasn't getting annoying, I think, with the whole tutorial stuff. That did get a little. That was
every
annoying.
Time you open a chest and it's like, this is a rupee. It gets you $5. But also, it feels like Zelda's kind of always done that.
Yeah. So, I felt like if I could just play that game normally, I think I would have finished it. I would have finished it.
Do you think the right stick slashing controls is normal enough for you to give it a shot?
I don't know. I wish I can try it.
Yeah.
I wish I can try it because I in my head I'm thinking maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. I just wonder how intrusive it is. Like, is it going to become natural to me to hold down L and move the camera around and then, move the stick around? Kind of that kind of stuff. But I'm a little tempted by it, Dominic. Like, I was all hate up until this point, and now it's available. I'm kind of like, maybe I give it a shot, Dominic. Maybe I pick this up.
Nintendo put something in the air, man.
They do.
People like
definitely in my house.
People don't like it.
Nintendo can sell me the dumbest bullshit. So like you said, it's reviewing all right, not spectacularly, but also I think games are just different nowadays. We've had Breath of the Wild come out. They talk about how this was kind of where a lot of those concepts started. You have the running, you have the climbing, stuff like that. But now we've gotten that more refined product, that better product, and the landscape's different now. So a game that is like that is not going to get the same score that it, did back in the day. And not even just score wise, it's just not going to be as good to some people as back in the day. So we'll see. I might just give it a shot, Dominic. But yeah, those were pretty much the new releases for this week. Did you see anything else you wanted to talk about, Dominic?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Thank you guys as always for listening. You can check us out on Twitter. Dominic is at DStallworth5. I'm at RegulusMB. The podcast is at Supa Pod, SUPAPOD. Supapod.com is the website. You can check us out there. You can find all the previous podcasts, as well as links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
All right, see you.